without, this meeting is being live streamed. Okay. Yeah, guys. Good evening to one and all. I'm Durga Jaishan, and I'm here to, I'm dealing with the 10th paper of yours, and the title is English Language Teaching in India. And some of you have, we have already done 8 classes on offline, and then we are given 8 online classes. I think you're all aware of it. So today I'm going to discuss about the contents of the book, what is there in this particular text. So as I think most of you have got the textbooks with you. Just check the contents page. And in the contents page, you have 5 blocks given. And each block has got 4 units. And in, so what is this textbook all about? I'll just give you a small brief up about this textbook. The title of the text is, as you all get an understanding by the title of the textbook, that is English Language Teaching in India. So, as we all understand,
Madam, you are not seen
actually, the language is very, very important. Yeah, sorry, there's a... Ma'am, good evening, ma'am.
Durga, is it okay?
Ma'am, I cannot hear your voice actually.
Yeah, is it okay now? Is it okay now?
Ma'am.
Is it okay for you?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, go ahead, Durga. You can go ahead with your class.
Yeah, guys. Yeah, I think I'm audible to all of you, and then I'll continue with this one because I don't think maybe there's a problem, technical problem with in my computer. I cannot hear anybody's voice coming from that side. So, but anyways, I'll continue with this one. Yeah. Let me tell you the first and the foremost important thing is that in this particular text, we are discussing about how English is being taught in the Indian situations, in Indian schools and colleges, especially schools. So we have different cameos. Actually, I need one second. So English. In the first block of the unit, in the first block, understanding the English classroom. So in India, we have different cameos are there. That's a background of the classrooms are there. And we have different 8 different backgrounds of English classroom situations are there. And then the first one is rural government schools, urban government schools, rural schools run by educational trusts, and Navodaya schools. Like that, there is a list of schools are there. And then how is the English being conducted in the classes are conducted, how the English teachers conduct their classes in these particular classrooms, in these schools. And then some of the factors influencing English language. Yeah. As we all know that English is being introduced by the Britishers, and then English is being while the Britishers are being pushed out of our country, but still we retain the English language because we understand the benefits that entails with the by learning this English. So that is how we actually retain English. We all understand that. So we have started learning English and teaching English to others so that we can actually become a economically strong nation. And then so English is being introduced into India. We cannot give a status to the English as such in India because for many people in India, English is a foreign language, and for some it is a first language, and for some it is a second language. And then so in some of the factors influencing English language learning there are 8 factors which are given in our textbook regarding the factors influencing English language learning. Language spoken by the learners at home, the first factor, and the second one is language spoken in the society around, socio-cultural background of the learners and the teachers, economic strata of the learners, and infrastructure available in the schools, teachers' communicative ability in the English, feedback mechanism and evaluation formats, place of English in the curriculum. These are the factors influencing in our Indian scenario, Indian context. And then in different schools, there are some certain cameos which are given in the first unit of our textbook, that the situations, how the classes are conducted, how the English teachers are taking the classes, and what is the impact of their teaching on the learners. That is the first block which is there, first unit in our textbook. And then
difficulty? I think class is not going on. We have almost 13 students are here. Durga, you want to continue the class? Durga, are you there? Durga Jaisham. Kalpana. Kalpana, are you there? Respond to me. Unmute yourself.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, you can lower your hand. Sai Kumar. Sai Kumar, are you there? Okay. Who is this Adelu? A-D-E-L-L-U.
Yes,
yeah,
Adelu.
write your name, write your full name, or take out that surname. Write your name here. Who is RH? Who is RH here?
Yes, ma'am.
What's your name?
Rahila.
Rahia. Please write your full name. Kalpana, are you there? Okay,
Yes,
Kalpana is there. Sai Kumar. Sai Kumar, are you there?
Yes, madam.
Sandhya.
Yeah, ma'am.
Yeah, Rekha.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Swarnalata.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, yes. Mahalakshmi. Afrozi Begum.
Yes, ma'am.
Very good. And Mahboob Nisa. Mahboob. Sheikh Mahboob. Yeah, Durga, tell me what happened. I am in the session.
Durga ma'am muted herself, ma'am.
You can make it interactive, Durga. I am right now in the session. See, I think this is little maybe you're not doing online, so it is little difficult. See, unmute yourself. I'm talking to you right away. Unmute yourself. And you can have an I'm right away in front of
yes,
you.
Ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Right? Yeah. You can have an interactive session because everyone is here. Mahalakshmi, Swarnalata, Rekha, Kalpana. If you can make your video also visible, that will be great interaction. Or if you want everyone to open the video, difficult for you to interact, but they can unmute yourself, ask the questions to them, or explain them. If you are unable to do the PPT today, it's okay. Do it orally. They are listening to you, Durga.
Yeah, ma'am. Yeah, that's what it is. Something kind of strange thing which I'm doing it. I feel as if I'm talking to myself. So that actually, yeah. But anyway,
don't worry.
Yeah, yes, ma'am. Yeah.
Don't worry. Okay, go ahead with the class. I am here right away. You can just start the session. Take the book, and if you don't have the PPT, don't worry. Tomorrow you can prepare the PPT. Go ahead with the.
Yeah, sure.
Start with the first session, first block. Okay, I'm here for 5 minutes. I'll be there. Then I'll disconnect. These are all, they know you very well. Almost all of them are from the regular class. Okay, go ahead with the class. Don't worry.
Yeah. Okay, ma'am. Yeah. Thanks. Yeah, sorry guys. Actually, I'm so freezed. I'm actually freezed because I don't know how to go about it. If you are right in front of me, I would have been really rocking. But the thing is, yeah, so it's something like I'm talking to myself.
You are Durga. You are doing good and great. And this is as simple. Yes,
my
it
dear
is
students,
difficult in the
initial
classes.
Session. Yes. Maybe I'll get used to this kind of taking classes from the next day onwards. But
yes.
Yeah. Yes. Anyway, guys, I think I have already finished most of the 8 almost like the first block is over. Actually, so I'll just revisit this unit. This unit, we'll do the first unit today. And in the first unit, as you all understand that, there are different school environments and the factors. Different school environments are there, right? We have understood. We have different, in the sense, 8 environments are there. And what is the backgrounds are there? Rural government schools are there, urban government schools are there. And in this one, we have learned, like we have already discussed about how the children, which type of children are going to which type of school, things like that. And then what are the factors that are influencing English language learning especially. So we have 8 factors which influence English language learning in the Indian scenario. That the list has been given on the page number 7. I think you all have the new textbooks and I have the old one. So it's in the 7th, page number 7 that we have. But I'll read out some of these factors influencing English language learning. The first one is language spoken by the learners at the home and language spoken in the society around. All these factors, I think I have already done this one. So, and then these are the factors that influence language teaching in English and language teaching in India. And coming to that, we have different cameos are being given. Cameos are the, the situations how the classroom is being conducted by the English teachers and other subject teachers also. And then cameo 11 And environmental science lesson is a lesson in the class 1 of the CBSE English medium school in the the Cameos is there. We have to see once we go through how the class is being conducted, there are comments, there are feedbacks also there given in the same textbook. So that, we have done few of them in our previous classes, offline classes, and the next one is the theoretical basis for the classroom practices. We have already understood in the second unit of our textbook, we have theoretical basis for classroom practices. What is the theoretical basis? See, as I have explained to you that there are 3 circles for the English language. The first is the first is expanding circle, inner circle, and outer circle, and the expanding circle. The first one is inner circle, outer circle, and expanding circle. This is the concept. This is the concept by Bridge B. Kachur, and he has actually spoken that how English is being used by different countries. Like, for example, inner circle. Inner circle is the BANA countries, British, Britain, North America, Australia. These countries whose language, whose mother tongue is English. They use English language for internal purposes, for external purposes, for interacting with the other countries also. They use only English language. So the native speakers actually belong to the inner circle of the English language. And then coming to outer circle. Outer circle are like the countries who will be using language mostly for their external purposes and also internal purposes, besides their regional languages for the internal purposes. And those countries are like, India, Australia, and other countries. And then expanding circle are like and then Mongolia, China, and the third world countries who are who use this English language only for the external purposes, and purely for their needs, they won't use this English language for international. They use English only for international communication, but otherwise, they use their own regional languages for the internal purposes. So this is how we have learned this one. And then, as I told you, we cannot give a status for English language in our country because for many of them, it is a foreign language. For some, it is a second language. For some, it is a foreign language, like that we have understood. And then there are, coming to the various ways in which English is taught in our country, there are some 8 ways which English is being taught in our country, in our country. That is, the first one is teaching language as content. And the second one is teaching language as a skill, teaching language as a structure, teaching language as grammar, and teaching language through content, teaching language as communication. These are some of the ways in which English is being taught in our country. And then we will look into one of the ways in which English is being taught in our country, that is teaching language as content. So basically, the books, that is the syllabus that is being prescribed for the students are like the textbooks that are prescribed. In the English textbooks, we have mostly an essays are there, stories will be there, a poem or a play has. These are the components of the subject, right? So these and English in English education in India, as we all understand that okay. And then purely this kind of teaching actually focuses only on the content, and the examinations are conducted only on the comprehensive questions which are prescribed at the end of each lesson, right? And then the traditional kind of testing demanded. This is a kind of a traditional way of teaching method, and then the other one is teaching language as a skill. All the components, right? The different components of English language, LSRW skills are there. So teaching language through the skills also. Two LSRW, the two skills are productive and two skills are receptive. Listening and reading is receptive, and speaking and writing are the productive skills. And then, so this is one kind of activity that this is one kind of methodology which the teachers would be following in teaching the language in different schools, based on their levels of comprehensive levels. And then and in this first unit, we also have historical perspectives of the language teaching are also there. What is the historical perspectives, in the sense that whatever the methods that we have been following from a very long time, like grammar translation methods. When people used to travel abroad, they actually practice on some phrases from common phrases where they can actually communicate. Communion can be successful whenever they are going abroad, right? People who go on business trips to different parts of the world. In the olden days, they used to learn some, common words like for common objectives, actions, and concepts. So this grammar translation method was the style which they used to actually practice when they are going out of country. This is one method which is being followed in the ancient times, like so. And then the reform methods have come, and then in that one reform methods, so they considered that just phrases and words would not make it. So they have speech. Since speech has become speech has become very important, and then in 1886, the International Phonetic Association was founded, and the International Phonetic Alphabet was introduced, and this facilitated the exact reproduction of any sound. So this one, so grammar translation method was a little failure, because the pronunciation part of it is very, very important, because in order to be make yourself comprehend to the other person, the pronunciation also makes some big difference, right? So the reform method, so International Phonetic Alphabet was introduced, and then where accuracy of pronunciation was considered very important in learning a new language. That is how this reform method has been introduced. And then later on, see, we all understand that change is inevitable, and then slowly it is also applicable to the language teaching also. So this is how the perspectives have been changing. The outlook of teaching English language is also being changed from grammar translation method to the reform method, and then comes the direct method. And then after that, what is direct method? What do you mean by direct method? So direct method is initially when teaching English, we actually correlate the English language with our native language, or like the mother tongue. And then new language is learned by referring to the first language, right? Exactly, like that. So what would happen to the direct method is that some of the educations have considered that this kind of method, referring to the first language to learn the second language, would not be an appropriate one. And then so the first language was totally excluded from the second language classroom. So that's how this direct method is being introduced into learning. This was how the changes have come from reform methods to the direct method. And then the structural method is another way of teaching language teaching in our Indian. And then after that, audio-lingual method is one more way of teaching English. Audio-lingual method is that when tape recorders, they use tape recorders to record some of the phrases and then sentences where the military, the soldiers would, who are from different parts of the globe, can actually understand and comprehend what they are actually. Sai is there. Okay. So That's how it is. So at the time of World War, this audiolingual method was very much being practiced, and they actually oral imitation and repetition was believed the result in the mastery of the items, and name audiolingual. Accurate pronunciation was important in this kind of methodology. And then thereafter, the structural oral situational method is also introduced. Then functional notional method, communicative approaches. The last one. These are the historical perspectives of language teaching in India. So we will just look into this one. What is that? The functional notional approaches. So we understand, right? In our day-to-day activities, we actually find ourselves in a place where we thank people, give information, thank people, apologize people, introduce someone. So different situations we find ourselves in everyday practices, right? In everyday. So what we this kind of functional notional approaches is that in the classroom the teachers would be giving a situation where the students, the participants would follow. They would come up with a conversation part of it, and then they practice the dialogues according to the situations that is being given by the teacher. So this is one of the methodology which English teachers used to follow in the Indian context. So this is also one functional notional method. And then communicative approaches is another method which we actually follow. Whatever methodologies that historical perspectives are there, but still every teacher follows their own methods and then their own techniques or style of teaching in a classroom. It depends. Basically, it depends on what set of learners they would get actually. So it is like, they come from different backgrounds, financial backgrounds, social backgrounds, and then so according to so the teacher should be like the teacher should be very intelligent, or like very clever enough that they have to customize the teaching methods according to the to the group of students she receives in a classroom, she has in a classroom. That's how you have to, how it should be. So, and then in India, we have the place of English in the school curriculum. We have 3 different places as such, as our textbook discusses, like English as a medium of instruction, English as a medium, regional language as a medium of instruction, and bilingual education. These are the 3 methods that which we follow while teaching English language in the school curriculums, right? So some schools actually, all the subjects, they give more importance only to the English language, and then everything has been transacted in the schools in English language. So this is one method where English as a medium of instruction is there. And then the other one is that regional language as a medium of instruction. The regional so we will actually look into what is there in the first one, the place of English in the school curriculum. So, yeah. So what happens here in this, when we are, before we go into the details about the medium of instructions in our schools, we should actually learn how this, as we all know that English is a structure of the structures, right? Isn't it not? All these other subjects, like for example, math, social, math, and then science subjects are, taught, are there in English language, or in English. This is a system of system. Language is a system of system. So what we have to understand is that in many schools, in many schools, the subject textbooks are taught in if we compare the English textbooks with the subject textbook, find a wide disparity in the nature of the language used. English textbooks are primarily a selection of poems and stories. It consists of a narrative text. So all the, narratives are all in past tense, right? And then, for example, when it comes to the science and maths subjects, it is all, they teach the form that they use while teaching this kind of maths and science. They use the present form of the tense, right? So, but basically when we discuss English textbooks, they are mostly, poems, and then stories, narratives are there. So the narratives predominantly use the past tense, right? So the student will get confused. He will be, he won't understand exactly how to. It won't help the English narratives or stories that past tense would not help to, perform the fatigue communion in the real situations, right? So that's where English will become a difficult subject for many of the learners. That's one thing we have to understand. And then the gap in the level of cognitive challenges is another one very drawback, one big drawback between the English subject and the other subjects also. Because while the optional subjects are at a higher, level of competent, challenging levels are there in other subjects. But while when you look at this English subject, it's also simple, when simple stories are there, and then children are asked to write only the comprehensive questions at the end of the lesson. So they find it very easy, and then there won't be any challenging or motivating kind of activities there in teaching English language when it comes to the teaching English as content. So, and in the regional. So, and then regional language as a medium of instruction. In the regional medium schools, English was introduced. Mostly it is introduced at level 6, right? And then at higher secondary level, in many stages, 2 English syllabuses were staged. In many states, 2 English syllabus were prescribed at a higher level for English medium students and lower level for the regional medium students. So the textbooks which are there, and when it comes to the secondary stage, higher secondary stages of the curriculum, what happens is that, the higher English, there would be 2 syllabuses for English actually. Higher level English, one method, one book, and then the medium for English medium students, and the lower level of regional medium students. So when they go to the higher levels, when they go to the university level, it becomes a disadvantage for many of the students who have come from a regional medium. So that's another drawback. That's the reason why many engineering students, they don't find proper employment, in fact. So that's another drawback of English language. Actually, at the time of after the independence, there was a nationalistic surge in the leaders, and then they actually objected. They objected for English medium schools, and then there was a mushrooming of regional medium schools, and then many have studied through those schools who are actually considered English language as a ancillary subject, and then not much importance was given to that English language. So this kind of still there are some regional medium. There are regional medium schools, and the students from those schools will always have a difficulty in transacting in English language in their real life situations. Yeah. And so that's another one. Regional language as a medium of instruction. This is how it goes about. Okay, and then bilingual means Kendriya Vidyalaya is one of the best examples that we can say that which follows bilingual education, where they'll be taught in the regional language and also in English. Kendriya Vidyalaya is one that is that school which actually follows the bilingual education. And then so guys, actually so these are some of the backgrounds, and then classroom procedures, how the so we understand English language is English language teaching is very, very important for the main objective of English language teaching in our Indian society is to, fulfill the needs for the communication, isn't it not? So communicative approach is acquiring a lot of importance these days. On the basic principles of these approaches, interaction in the classroom is the ultimately designed kind of activities that most of the teachers adapt in their classrooms. So this has actually made the teacher passive, and the learners, the participants active. So according to this, to make it to reach the objectives of the communicative approach, to realize the communicative approach objectives, what is happening is that in our the teacher has to become a monitor, and then an instructor, and then supervisor, kind of motivator, kind of, and then she has to he should be monitoring the students and give them activities, group-based activities, pair-based activities, and then give them situations where they can interact and develop their communication skills and all. And then another important aspect here we need to focus on is that the subject teachers and the English teachers should go hand in hand. They should not alienate from each other, because if this happens, the purpose of the objectives of the teaching English in India would not serve the purpose, right? So they have to, the teachers, the subject teachers and the English teachers need to work together. That is the first and the foremost thing any institution should follow, actually. So, and otherwise also in many schools, English is considered as auxiliary kind of helping, and then the English teachers are considered as an extra or substitute teacher when our optional teachers won't come to the school when they are off from their duties. Then these English teachers would be substituted in their classes. So, and then that's how the psychology of many schools management is there these days. That's one thing. So the classroom procedures are very, very important. What we need to look into this one is that group work, pair work, and the use of technology makes English classes very interactive. And then the resources and we have to facilitate the institutions with the resources and infrastructure and make them avail. The infrastructure should be up to the mark so that they can use the infrastructure and then the technology available around and make the best use of their classes to learn English. So that's one more thing that we understand. And coming to the examination point of view, the changing role of the English teacher is very, very important. And earlier, the classrooms were teacher centered, and now these days it is basically it is student centered classrooms. And yeah, and then yeah, guys, actually this is very odd for me. What I'm feeling is very odd, actually, without anybody in front of me, and then I'm just speaking to some blank screen. Yeah, anyways, guys, actually, maybe I can do a better job tomorrow. So the first, yeah. From the examination point of view, I think I have explained you the question paper in my offline classes. Like, there would be 2 sections, and then in the 2 sections you will be given, your paper is for 70 marks, and then the pass marks is for 28 marks, right? And you have 2 sections. And in 2 sections, you have choice also. The first section, you have 50%, and the second section also, you have 50% of choice there. And in most of the questions, you have to concentrate more on the first block of the textbook, because that is very, very important. And the last block is also very important. And as I said, in the first block, the most important lessons are the historical perspectives of teaching English, the perspectives of language teaching. That's very important question. And also, and the role of the English teacher is also very, very important. You just have to read each line so that you can write the answer appropriate to the question. So, and yeah, since we have more time, I would like to read out something for you and then close. So, yeah, actually, in the Indian context, in Indian educational settings, for the teachers also, initially, but at the time of the British rule, English medium schools have been, English medium schools, most of the teachers were from the native language. They used to teach them, and then after some years, like yeah, actually, sorry guys, I'm little tongue tied. Actually, I'm not very comfortable with this kind of job. So happy with this. Yeah, I'm not used to, so I am little tongue tied, and then I don't know what to express, what to say. Anyways, hopefully I'll do the better job maybe in the next class. And thanks for being online and then lending your ears for my atrocious class. I think this is one of the most worst classes I have ever taken. Sorry for that. Guys, actually, you need to excuse me. Thank you, and yeah,
Okay.
I'll let Khalid. Thanks.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.